And as a leader, I'm going to challenge you that you cannot hide from these situations. And if you run from those, the minute things get hard, you're going to miss what is supposed to naturally happen to you. Hi, my name's Devon. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. And today I'm going to talk to you about how stress is not the enemy. Stress is not the enemy. And listen, a lot of you probably want to turn me off right now because all that you listen to all day long is probably things telling you, or podcasts and people telling you how to avoid stress at all costs and how terrible stress can be. And listen, take this for what it's worth. I want you to listen to the concepts that I'm teaching here. I want you to listen, give me a chance and bear with me. And this is an important one because I'm dealing with this. We all deal with this. We all deal with stress in our lives. And I'm going to tell you, it's not stress that's the enemy. It's how we deal with stress, okay? Because I was driving, I live in Arizona, and on the way down to Tucson, Arizona, there's always these signs for the biosphere. Many of you may have seen a documentary on Netflix about the biosphere. Really weird stuff. Listen, Biosphere 1, it was super weird. I don't know what they were actually trying to accomplish, but they had the Biosphere 1, and then they came back and did Biospheres 2. And for those of you who don't know what the biosphere is, it's this giant dome that they actually put people in and vegetation in, and they cut it off from all of the world. And I think it was for like 2+ years. And the idea was they were trying to figure out better ways to farm, create agriculture, find cures, but if they could do it in this totally enclosed environment, with nothing from the outside world, no outside pollution, no outside noise, everything was inside this sphere. And they were going to do it, like I said, for 2 years. It was amazing. Anyways, watch the documentary. There's some really weird stuff in the first one. But anyways, this is about the biosphere too, right? What they found, and this is crazy, they found that because this was essentially a stress-free environment, all of a sudden the trees shot up and grew way faster than they ever had before. And people are going, see, I knew it. If we didn't have this stress, look what happens to the trees. They get taller, they grow faster. And therefore, that's what we need to do with our kids. We need to have them be totally stress-free. My life needs to be totally stress-free because if I didn't have stress, I'd be 6'5". I'd grow faster, taller, right? If I didn't have stress, I'd be totally healthy. And look at just cut me off from the rest of the world, cut me off from stress, and look at how healthy and how fast I'll grow. Well, that all sounded great, but these trees grew super fast, super tall, and then they started to fall over. And not one of them, but they all started to fall over. And you go, well, geez, that's odd. There's not even really wind or anything in there, right? It's a stress-free environment. And that's what they found. That's exactly what they found. Because there was no wind, there was no resistance against these trees. Sure, they shot up fast, right? They looked good. They looked tall. They looked strong. They grew fast, right? But the lack of stress, the lack of resistance, the lack of wind, meant that they didn't have enough bark. It meant that their roots didn't go deep enough. And so they grew tall with no roots and no protection, and they fell over. They fell over, and they fell over. And I'm a parent of 4. And as a parent of 4, and you guys know this, you might think like, oh, not me. Like I let my kids go through stuff. Listen, I was the same person. I thought, I'm going to let my kids suffer. I'm going to make them do things the hard way. And listen, as a parent, man, we try to protect our kids, man. I try to protect them as much as I can, right? I try to always keep them away from anything stressful. But now as I've watched them get older and I've watched them grow, I've realized that this stress actually builds some protection around them. It teaches them, having resistance builds this outer layer of strength. It makes them dig their roots deeper. Just like the trees, everyone could think, oh, look how healthy they are, right? Well, they're healthy because they've never had to deal with anything. And then the minute anything comes against them, boom, they're devastated. They're destroyed. And so watching this and reading this and learning this, I'm learned that stress is not the enemy. It's not the resistance. It's not that we should go through our life totally trying to avoid stress, because this is what we try to do naturally as people. We try to find these very comfortable places, whether it's for our children or for ourselves. And we try to put ourselves in a situation like, oh, if I go and start this new company, I'm going to be under a lot of stress. I don't want stress. Okay, well then you're not going to grow and be healthy, right? If you constantly steer clear of anything that is hard, if you steer clear from anything that is you got to work at and push at, anything that could hurt you back, anything that scares you, anything that pushes you or drives you or challenges you, you might look healthy on the inside, but you've got no fortitude built up. You don't have roots. You don't have the infrastructure underneath you to be able to withstand tough times. And you're likely going to fall at the least bit of resistance. However, as a leader, if you're willing to put yourself out there into stressful situations, into situations that make you uncomfortable, into situations that you don't like, bosses you don't like, coaches you don't like, situations that you don't like, situations you can't control, persecution, different things that come against you. If you're not willing to put yourself into those situations, you're never going to have the root structure and the strength to withstand the storms of life. And as a leader, I'm going to challenge you that you cannot hide from these situations. So maybe right now your business is going through stuff. Maybe you're dealing with stress. Maybe you're going through challenges. All of these things, they are not the enemy. They are designed to strengthen you. And if you run from those, the minute things get hard, you're going to miss what is supposed to naturally happen to you, which is supposed to naturally strengthen you for the challenge, for those windy tornado days, right? That's what we need. We need resistance to grow. Just like if you go to the gym every day and all you do is bench the bar and you go, geez, I don't understand. Every day I go to the gym and I bench the bar 100 times. I'm faithful. I do it right, but you're not pushing yourself. You're not stressing your muscles. You're not tearing those muscle fibers, which is pain, right? It's pain. It's uncomfortable, but it grows you. Stress is not the problem. The lack of stress or how we deal with it is, because a lot of times the minute it gets hard, the minute it hurts, we're out. We're out. And then we totally miss the strong, rooted person that we could become. That leader that is trying to be developed inside of us never gets to become the person that he or she should be, because we ran from those stressful situations. The minute the coach doesn't like you and doesn't play for you, oh, screw it, I quit. You miss the opportunity to grow. The minute you don't get along with your boss, oh, I quit, I go to another job. You miss that opportunity for growth. The minute you don't take a challenge, you don't take that extra class because it's going to be too hard and because you're not going to get enough sleep. The minute if I don't get enough sleep, then I get cranky and then I'm going to be stressed. Well, listen, you're never going to grow if you don't push yourself to do those things that are hard, those things that stress you, that resistance in your life. And that's what we need to grow. Listen, I don't like it. If you think I like pain, I don't. I don't like stress. But I will tell you, those challenges in my life have grown me. I remember when in the 7th grade, my coach never played me. And it pissed me off. And I wanted to quit. And I told my parents, I want to quit. And my parents told me to suck it up. I wasn't allowed to quit. And by the end of that season, I still didn't play. But I was so pissed and I worked so hard that by the time I was a senior, I became a captain. Right? And that's what grew me to that. I remember failing in business and not wanting to fail. I remember losing money in business and remembering I'm never going to make those mistakes again, but I'm also never going to quit. And that's what grew me. I remember, asking someone to homecoming and her saying no, right? And I could have stopped, but now I've been married for 27 great years because I had the courage to continue on. All of those situations, those were painful moments in my life, right? And I'm listing a few. But if we try to hide from the pain, not feel the stress, we never grow that bark. We never get the fortitude to spread out our roots, to become stable in who we are, and to become confident and say, I don't care if I failed. I don't care if things have been hard. I know what I'm called to do, and I'm going to embrace the stress, and I'm going to allow that to make me stronger. I don't like it. I know you don't like it, but have the courage to run from the stress. Stress is not the enemy. Resistance is not the enemy. I'm Devon. This is Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast. Get this one. It will help you.